Today we're going to discuss some patterns and measurement units. We're going to find out how to use them to write number pairs for measurement units. Looking at the top, it says the table at the right relates yards and feet. You can think of the numbers in the table as number pairs. 1 and 3, 2 and 6, 3 and 9, 4 and 12, and 5 and 15. They are number pairs. The number pairs show the relationship between yards and feet. So 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, so 2 yards is equal to 6. 3 yards would be equal to 9 feet. We could keep going. Okay? So our first problem today, read with me. Lillian made the table below to relate 2 units of time. What units of time does the pattern in the table show? Here's your question. What units of time does the pattern in the table show? So we're going to use the relationship between the number pairs that we see to label the columns of the table correctly. So let's read through our number pairs. We have 1 and 7, 2 and 14, 3 and 21, 4 and 28, and 5 and 35. So I want you to think about those. Why don't we go ahead and list them since we just said them. We had 1 and 7, and this is how you're going to write it with the and sign, then put a comma. 2 and 14. So just exactly what we said. 3 and 21. 4 and 28. And we keep going. 5 and 35. If you need to go down to the next line, you can do that also. And write them in, please. Now, once we have done that, we have to describe the relationship between those numbers in each pair. What do we know with 1 and 7? What do we know with 2 and 14, 3 and 21, and so on? Morgan? So the second number is how many times greater? 7 times greater than the first. So we're going to say the second. And I'm going to let you use the number symbol. The second number in the pair is 7 times the first number. So the second number in the pair is 7 times greater than the first. I just put times the first. So the second number in the pair is 7 times the first number. So if we know that it is 7 times that, who thinks they can label these columns in the table for me? What units of time is 7 times as great as another unit? I'm even giving you a hint saying unit of time. It also had that in the problem it talked about with Lillian. So Logan, what is something that is 7 times as great as another unit?
The weeks.
Alright, so which one are we putting where?
Weeks goes on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 section.
So 1 week in 7 days, yes? So weeks would go in this column, days would go in the second. We know that there are 7 days in a week. So 1 week would be 7 days, 2 weeks would be 14 days, 3 weeks would be 21. Whatever you choose, please make sure you are going back and checking it. Does it make sense with what you wrote in there? Let's look at the math talk question. It's kind of an interesting question. It says, look at each number pair in the table. Could you change the order of the numbers in the number pairs? Why or why not? So basically what it's asking is, could I do like 1 and then 3 and then 4 and then 2 and then 5? Could I move those around? If I do that, what do I have to make sure happens also? That the days also have to be moved around. You can't just move the weeks and then not move the days. You understand that they have to go together with the number pairs. So no matter where you're putting them, they still have to go together. Turn the page. Let's try this one. Jasper made the table below to relate 2 customary units of liquid volume. What customary units of liquid volume does the pattern in the table show? We're going to highlight this question, and I'm going to underline some things that are very important for us to make sure we pay attention to. And that is customary units of liquid volume. That's one thing that can help you out in determining what you're going to put in the box. Red did highlighted. So let's label the number pairs or list them. What do we have? 1 and 4. 2 and 8. I'm getting it right out of this chart. Then I have 3 and 12. 4 and 16. And 5 and 20. That should be your last one. Just like we did on the other page, we need to think about the relationship between the numbers in each one of the pairs. So I'm going to look at 1 and 4, see what kind of relationship we have. 2 and 8 has to be the same relationship. 3 and 12. So think about what we put on the other side. Can I put something similar here? Okay, so the second number in each pair is what, Aiden? Okay, so tell me how we put it on the other side so we can put it here the same way. I started it out for you and you didn't use it.
Oh, the second number is 4 times.
Thank you. The second number in the pair is 4 times the first number. So the second number in the pair is 4 times the first number. And I could have said in the pair again, but I think you understand what we're saying. So as you're looking at that relationship, thinking about the customary unit of liquid volume that would be 4 times as great as another unit. Now, think about customary units and then liquid volume units that we have learned. We did a lot of this stuff yesterday. Camden, what are we going to use for our table this time?
Quarts and gallons.
So where am I putting quarts and where am I putting gallons?
So gallons is at where it starts at 1.
All right.
And then quarts.
So gallons on the left, quarts on the right. Do we agree with him?
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm looking at this, that would mean that there are 4 quarts in a gallon. So 8 quarts in 2 gallons, 12 quarts in 3 gallons, 16 quarts in 4 gallons, and 20 quarts in 5 gallons. We all agree with that? When you pick something, make sure you go back and do what I just did. Make sure that they all fit. Now, it says, what other units could you have used to label the columns of the table above? Still has to be customary units, still has to be liquid volume. Is there something else I could have used besides the quarts and gallons? That's the first one you think of, because I think you're used to looking at your G that we draw, and it's easy to see that there are 4 quarts in a gallon. What other kinds of units could we have used here? something that is 4 times the amount in the first? Nobody has any idea. Do I need to draw a G again? Oh, it's looking that way. Mackenzie, have an idea? You can't use 2, you have to use 4. So whatever you're choosing has to have 4 times whatever you're picking in the first column. So could I use quarts again?
Yeah.
Yes, I can. And what am I going to put in the other column then? Cups, exactly. So you could use quarts and cups because 1 quart is 4 times as much as a cup. So we're going to write that here as quarts and cups. And you're going to say 1 quart is 4 times as much as 1 cup. So there may not just be one correct answer on some of these. So we could have put quarts and cups up there in the table, right? And then down here on this one, we could have written quarts and gallons. Now I will tell you that some of the tables are only going to have one correct answer. There's not going to be a lot of them that have 2 like this one did. All right, let's look at the share and show. We're going to see what you can come up with. Read with me. The table shows a pattern for 2 units of time. Label the columns of the table with the units of time. So you're going to first go over your relationship pairs. It didn't ask you to write all this information this time, but should you go over it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to look at your pairs 1 and 24, 2 and 48, 3 and 72, and so on. Then you need to think about what is that relationship. It doesn't ask you to write how many times it is, but you do need to look at it. Yes? And then you're going to tell me what units of time. That might be something up there that you might need to underline to make sure you're getting the correct thing in there. Because if it says units of time and you're putting something else, are we going to like your answer very much? No, probably not. All right, talk with your neighbor about what you're going to use. Go over the pairs. Talk about how many times greater it is. All right, when some of you were doing this, you just put in there what you thought your units of time were. Please go over what your relationship with them is. What is the 1 and the 24? It is 24 times as many as 1, or the first number. So just like we've been doing this whole time. Okay, make sure you talk that over so you have a chance to do that. So what did we come up with for our units of time that has 1 and 24, 2 and 48, and so on, Maurice? So days on this side?
Yes.
So in 1 day, she's saying there are 24 hours. Now as you go looking through that, so 2 days would be 48 hours, 3 days would be 72. Does it make all sense with all of them? Okay, make sure you go down and do that, please. All right, flip the page. Couple more tables here. You're going to work on 2 and 3 with your partner. Again, please go over your numbered pairs and the relationship between them before you start putting things in the table. You will do the on your own by yourself.